Welcome to the Real Estate Practice Podcast, the show that helps you know what to say when you're talking to buyers and sellers so that you can close more deals and earn more money. I'm Darren Tunstall, a real estate professional, coach, and #1 best-selling author. Let's get into this. As a reminder, the purpose of Scripts and Dialogues is to come, learn, practice, and be prepared to fail forward. This is where we make mistakes and help each other out, but we're mostly interested in seeing how we can get better. First, we read through the script word for word, and then we go back and put it into our own natural tone, style, and phrasing. You won't know what to say until you go through the script. So, with that said, many people will say, "That's not how I sound," and I totally get it. That's not how you sound. But that is the reason why we practice every day, so that the script becomes you and in your own voice. So read it word for word first, then go back and put it into your own natural tone, style, and phrasing, and I think it'll work out. We were talking about when you have a farm, what is a good turnover ratio? When you choose, when you're choosing a farm. And, the higher the better. The higher the better, because you want to give yourself a much better chance. And the market can help with that a little bit, but at the same time, you kind of got to know all the numbers. It's without everything in front of you, it's kind of difficult. I mean, yeah, the market might change that, but when you look at a turnover ratio, you're looking at, 8 years, 10 years. How many years does people live there? If you're just choosing a farm and saying this year it's going to be, well, that's not an accurate picture for the average amount of time that a person actually lives there for.
Plus, I think you're going
So,
to have a higher turnover if you have townhomes and condos, right?
yeah,
I think people tend to live in those a little bit less time than they do a single family home. Single family home is kind of the ultimate goal, right?
yeah,
And where townhomes and condos are more like stepping stones, single people, you know,
yeah.
people starting out.
Yeah, so if you don't know where to go, just for everybody listening, check out um, Title Reps. Title Reps can help you out with that.
And RPR has great tools to help you with that too.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Okay, let's jump in today's dialogue. If you haven't refreshed your screen, go ahead and do it. It should be retitled as Helping Buyers Succeed in Multiple Offer Situations. Anybody have an offer out that's you're getting multiple, or a listing out that where you're getting multiple offers?
Misael, did you get?
For our offer, no, we decided not move forward with our offer.
Okay.
Yeah,
So your client decided not to move forward.
that's right.
That's right. All right. Um, yeah, that's okay. Let's go ahead and set this up. In this scenario, let me blow it up so I can read it. In this scenario, you are the agent guiding a buyer through a situation where several offers are being made on the same property. And believe it or not, that can happen today. The buyer wants to compete, but is concerned about standing out among multiple offers. The intention is to help the buyer understand their options and decide how to submit a strong competitive offer for the highlights or that highlights their priorities while staying within their comfort zone. So a couple of things that we're going to mention in here that some of you may or may not have heard. We're going to talk about stuff like escalation clauses. I'm not going to go into detail too far into the weeds about it, but this is just a way for a client to increase their offer amount should someone else come in at a higher bid. It's kind of like when you're on eBay and you set the offer and it just goes up and then somebody else bids and then they go up and then somebody else bids and then they go up and there's a max ceiling that your client would decide. Essentially, that's it in a nutshell. A little more involved, but in a nutshell, that's kind of what it is. There's also terms, having a real conversation with your buyer about, hey, look, to show that we're more serious, how about putting some more money down? Showing more of a commitment on your end. We don't go too far deep into the terms, but there are terms like what are they willing to pay for? you can include some of those too. So let's go ahead and practice this word for word, and then we'll do it again. Do your best to go off dialogue, right? And put it in your own tone, style, and phrasing, and then we'll be good. So we ready to go?
Ready.
All right, so let's go ahead and create a breakout room. Breakout. Let's go ahead
Okay.
and do this. And okay, if you got a breakout room, go ahead and click on it. Otherwise, stay here and we'll bring you back in about 20 minutes or less. All right, Misael and Emily. Emily, you're going to be the buyer.
What?
Misael, you're going to
Hmm.
be the agent. So when you're ready, you're going to start us out, Misael.
All right. Hi, Emily. The home you're interested in is getting a lot of attention, and there are several offers coming in. Are you still interested in making an offer?
Heck yeah, I want that house.
Hmm. Well, thanks for sharing that. When you think about this decision, what's your top priority? Is it the price, your move-in timeline, or something else?
Wow, that's a good question. Probably price and trying to get in there on time. I don't want to wait.
Okay, so what I heard is that price and timing is critical for you.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
And I hear that staying within your budget and meeting your timeline are important to help you decide how do you feel about offering above the asking price, and is there a number that still feels comfortable to you?
I'm comfortable going over the asking price, excuse me, but not ridiculously high, maybe, 10K or so.
Okay, that makes sense. Sellers sometimes care just as much about timing as they do about price. How much flexibility do you have on the closing date, if that would help strengthen your offer?
Well, ideally, I'd like it to be shorter, so I can get in there and get this done, you know?
Hmm. Yep, the sellers would also like it to be nice and short escrow. So, based on what you've shared, there are a few ways to make your offer stand out while staying within your comfort zone. One option is an escalation clause. This means your offer would automatically increase if another higher bid comes in, up to a limit you choose. How do you feel about setting a maximum amount that works for you?
I'm okay with that, but I really don't want to go more than 10K over. I could probably do 15 at a max.
Okay, 15 then at a max. And another way is to increase your earnest money deposit. This isn't an extra cost, but shows the seller you're serious about the purchase. How do you feel about increasing your earnest money to strengthen your offer?
I could do that. How much do you think I should do that by?
Well, let's see. I think maybe 5% more would be great.
Wow. Okay. I might be able to wrangle that.
Okay. And now that you've considered these strategies, which ones would you like to include in your offer? You can decide the price, your flexibility on closing, the escalation cap, and your earnest money amount.
Let's start with the ex escalation cap. Um, I really think that would be the best way to go. That way we'll beat out anybody else with these, because you said there's other offers coming in.
Yes, yes. Okay, that is great. I'll put these details into your offer so you can review them before anything is submitted. And just one last time, what I'm hearing is that you're willing to do an escalation cap for this offer here at a max 15K more.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so your offer is strong and reflects what's important to you. I'll send everything over for your review and signature, then present it to the seller's agent right away. I'll also keep you updated on any changes from the seller's side. To stay connected, are you available for a quick call tomorrow around 3 p.m. or would another time be better for you?
Yeah, that works. I can block that time off.
Great. I'll reach out with any updates and we'll make sure you're informed every step of the way. Before we move ahead, is there anything else you want to talk through or ask about the process?
No, I think, I trust you and it sounds like you know what you're doing and I know that you have my best interest at heart, so I'm comfortable moving forward and I know you'll let me know if anything else comes up.
Okay. Excellent. Sounds good. Well, then thank you so much, and we'll meet then.
Okay.
Great.
Misael, what is
Yeah.
5% of $1 million?
Well, I know 10%. That would be 100,000, so half would be 50,000.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to ask you a math question on the spot,
Yeah.
but um,
I guess
that's a lot of money.
that's a big jump.
That's a big
Well,
jump.
yeah.
Plus, he said
But
another 5%.
yeah,
Yeah.
what are they putting down already? Yeah. No, I'm just my purpose of asking that question is keep in mind numbers when we throw them out there. Like, it is kind of it is not kind of it is up to the client. You could say 5%, and if they say, what do you think about two? We'll take it, right? We'll take it.
Yeah. I guess I was confused because I thought I was talking to a, yeah, I guess I got confused. I thought I was talking to a buyer's agent and they had already made an offer or something on the property.
Mhm.
But this is just like an agent to a buyer.
Yeah,
Yes,
you're talking to your client and you're the buyer
Yeah,
agent.
you're talking to your client.
yeah. I
Okay.
think you did a good job.
No, I think you did great.
Yeah, you did
Um,
fantastic. I'm just saying, be aware of
The
numbers like,
ask, yeah, 5%.
yeah.
and
I
I
mean, it's
would
gonna,
suggest 5%. I would say, what are you comfortable? Let
Well,
them
I guess if they're
decide.
taking out a loan, the lender's gonna more or less tell them what they're gonna put down, right? If it's 3.5% or
yeah. Well, there's certain loans that require a certain amount. Like it's 3.5% for an FHA. What if it's an investment property? It might be 25%.
Mhm.
Depending on the type of loan. If it's a VA, obviously it's zero, but if they still want the house, just because it's zero in a VA situation, it doesn't mean that they can't put money down. They can definitely put
Right.
money down.
Mhm.
So the question is, what can we do to strengthen the offer and make it look more attractive and more serious so that when a client looks at it, like, yeah, yeah, this offer over here came in with more money, but this offer over here this is really, really strong. So I get that you want more money, and I'm talking about like if you were talking with the seller, with your seller, like I get that you want more money, but would you rather more money and less chance of it closing, or would you rather a little bit less money and a significant chance of it closing? I would rather the less money and a significant chance. Yeah,
Because that's the end goal, right? Sell the house.
that's right. That's
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, Emily, let's do this.
All right. So hey, Misael, the home that you love over there in La Jolla is getting a lot of attention. And there's several offers coming in according to their agent. Are you still interested in making an offer?
Oh, Emily, I love that home as soon as I walked in. But I'm worried about competing with other buyers, especially in La Jolla.
I know, right? Well, thanks for sharing that. But when you think about this decision, what's your top priority? Is it going to be the price, your move-in timeline, or maybe it's something else?
It's definitely price and even timing. We want to get a little bit of a longer escrow period, maybe 45 days to get all our stuff together before we move in.
Okay. And you never know, that might work better for them. So, what I'm hearing is you are really concerned about price, but you also want to maybe take a little bit more extra time on the escrow period or the contingency period and push it to 45 days. Is
Yes.
that correct? Okay.
Yes.
So, it's important to stay within your budget and your timeline. And to help you decide, how do you feel about offering above asking price to compete with those other offers? And is there a number that still feels comfortable for you to do that?
Yeah, going over asking, I mean, I would say just for this property because I like it so much. Yeah, I would be comfortable going a little bit over asking, let's say $10,000.
Okay. Um, that makes sense. Sellers sometimes care just as much just as much about timing as they do about the price. So how much flexibility do you have on that closing date? You said 45 days. That might help you, actually, in the long run. They might need more time. So, but they might also be looking for a quicker closing date. Are you still kind of flexible, or do you really need to push it to that 45 days?
Mhm. Yeah, so if it would get us in our foot in the door and maybe us purchasing that property, maybe I can be a little bit flexible about the 45 days. Maybe 35 days, maybe even 30.
Okay. Well, I'll definitely try and make it happen in the best way for you. Based on what you've shared, there's a few ways to make your offer stand out while trying to stay within your comfort zone. One option is an escalation clause. Okay, this means your offer would automatically increase if another higher bid comes in. So up to the limit you choose, whether it's 10,000 or, higher than that. How do you feel about setting a maximum amount that works for you?
So how does that work? Are they going to show us that another offer came in and that's going to trigger the escalation clause?
Correct. So when other offers come in, yours will automatically increase to keep you in the running, so to speak.
So we get a copy of the other offers. How do we know that they actually came in?
How do we know? I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Well,
Um,
regardless, I think, yeah, as long as it's $10,000 up the as the limit, I would be okay with it.
okay. So I've lost my place. Another way is to increase your earnest money deposit. This isn't an extra cost, but shows the seller you're serious about the purchase. How do you feel about increasing your earnest money to strengthen your offer?
Yeah, I think I can do another 5,000.
Okay, that should help, and that'll show that you're serious. So what I'm hearing is you're able to add another 5,000 to your earnest money. Now that you've considered all of these strategies, which one would you like to include in your offer? You can decide on you can decide the price, your flexibility on that closing date that we talked about, or the escalation cap and your earnest money amount. We can do all or one or however you want to do.
Uh, I think I think we can do the flexibility on closing and we can adjust the price.
Okay, perfect. I'll put these details into your offer so that you can review them before anything is submitted. Sound good?
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right. So your offer is strong and reflects what is most important to you. So I'll send everything over to review and your signature, then present it to the seller's agent right away. I'll also keep you updated on any changes from the seller's side. To stay connected, are you available for a quick call tomorrow around 3 o'clock?
Yes, three works.
Perfect. I'll get in touch with you tomorrow, let you know how everything's going. And before we move ahead, is there anything else you want to talk through or ask about the process?
Not at this moment.
Okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow, Miss Dale. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me today.
No problem. Thank you.
So, how does that work, Darren?
So that's a really good question. Bottom line is we are not um we can't share information, right? Like the
Right.
pricing and things like that, but we can redact it. We can redact it and provide proof that an offer has come in, but for their privacy, hide all the major details that we're not allowed to
So, we're
share.
hiding their name and leaving the price.
Yeah. Here you go. Here's proof,
Is it
and
So you're
each
sending the
time?
RPA.
So, each time?
Each time. Yeah. I mean, if they really want proof, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all supposed to be honest people and leading with integrity. But if you really want to go above and beyond, ask for proof. And, the one way of doing it is to provide redacted information. And here you go. Here's a proof of the offer that came in.
So
So you
you
would leave perhaps the buyer's agent's name and just redact the buyer's information, correct?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, show the address, right? This is the address that the offer is being made on. Show the price. This is what came in, but for privacy, obviously, this is what we're doing. And then that's proof to be able to escalate it up to the next level.
Because I agree with that. How do you know? You
Yeah,
know?
no, exactly. Well, that's one way to do it.
And I never been in that situation. I've never really discussed that. I know it exists, but that's something that I
I
don't
mean,
think is a good idea.
well, no, I mean, obviously, when it happens, and it does, you're going to want to get with your broker for sure and say, hey, this is what it is. I just want to make sure that I'm doing it right.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay.
But that's that, we're we're handing over these competing offers, but it has to be confidential in some form. And you want to show enough proof that this is what it is.
Well, I guess
And
it's like when somebody puts an offer on a house and they think they have the best offer, but they lose out and they want proof that someone else put in a better offer. Because I know that happens,
yeah,
right?
yeah, it does. And the only real way, and I'm looking at some disclosure rules here, a broker shall not disclose the price or other material terms contained in a party's offer to a competing party without the express authority of the offering party. So again, going back to what we discussed in the past, where when it comes down to at least motivation, you want to make sure that you have a discussion with your clients. They want proof in order to kick
So
this
the seller
in.
would have to okay that.
I would think it's the right thing to do, yes.
Would it be the
Yeah.
seller or would it be the other buyer's agent?
I think you should get both
Yeah.
on board and
Okay.
have that discussion about it
Okay.
and show proof of
And
discussion.
if not, then what do I tell my client? They're not willing to disclose that?
Well, I would question it. Like
Right.
why aren't, I mean, it's something shady about that if they're not willing to, I mean, otherwise, like what? You can just keep on escalating until you get the price that you want. That's not fair,
Right. Right.
right?
Okay.
I mean, it's not even, I don't even want to say it's fair. That's not leading with
Ethical.
ethic. Yeah, yeah, that's not ethical. You're
Mhm.
just then you're just controlling the market, and that's wrong. All right, we got Dan and Troy are back. How'd that go for you?
We actually ended like right to the second when we got brought back here.
Oh, did you?
We were freestyling.
Were you freestyling?
Yes,
Nice.
yes, yeah, it
Yeah,
was
Dan.
great.
Yeah, it was good.
Let's ask Dan the same question because I'm curious to see how they do it in Boston. But I'm curious, Dan. First off, do you guys allow escalation clauses over there?
So it depends on the agent, but yes.
Okay. And how do you show proof of that someone submitted an offer and it is higher?
Yep. So we reference a bona fide offer. We cross out any details, but they they'll email us the submitted offer.
Gotcha. So same thing that we talked about. You kind of redact the personal private information, leave the price, the address, here's what it is, show proof, and if that's satisfying to your client, then you move forward, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, because that was the question that came up, and because that is a really good question. It's like, how do you show proof that somebody made that offer? And how does an escalation clause? I don't want to make this all about just the escalation clause. That is one way, right? It is a good question, there's no doubt, but that is one way of showing more interest in creating a situation where you show that your client is interested in making their offer stronger. You know, increasing your money down, paying terms. You know, like Misael, you know, you went from 45 days to, yeah, maybe 30. You know, just there's all sorts of different things that you can do. And
But
that's
45
by,
days might work for the seller.
it might work for the seller. So,
So that's a
and how,
conversation, right, with their listing agent.
and yes, and that's the conversation, and that's why we have to ask so many questions, like, you know, tell me this, tell me that, you know, who, what, when, why, where, and how. And the more questions that we ask, the more information we can gain, and the better that we can use that information to create leverage to cause our offer to be the one in first position. Would everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I agree.
Yeah.
Would that be the escrow officer that you'd talk to as an agent to determine if the closing could get bumped up? Or who? I mean, there's a lot of
Um,
factors involved there, right?
escrow is just going to manage the paperwork and make sure that all the conditions are met accordingly. Um, you know, really, it's gonna if you're gonna bump up a certain amount of money, it's most likely going to be a lender conversation. Um, you know, if you're going to put more money down, you got to talk to the lender, make sure everybody's involved. You're going to talk to everybody, to be honest. You're going to talk to the listing agent. Hey, they're going to come in with more money. We really want this to be a strong offer, so I want you to know that they're serious and this is what's going to happen. You know, you're going to talk to, and then you're going to create, you know, amendments or, you know, amend the documents in some way. You're going to have everybody sign. That gets sent to the escrow, right? Because now it's updated, so that, you know, so that they know what's going on before they release or pay any money.
Right.
Um, you know, lenders, you know, if you're going to put more money down, then they should be made aware of it. You know, your clients obviously are making all the decisions. So yes, yeah, I would say usually it's not uncommon in situations for when an email goes out that you would include like the lender, the agent, the escrow officer, everybody involved, to so that everybody's in the loop on everything.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else to add?
Just touching on the escalation clause, I repped a buyer about a year or two ago now, probably 2 years ago now. And I think I told Darren the story, but we were in a competitive market and every weekend he was making offers, kept getting beat out 100 over the asking price. And we were submitting strong offers.
Wow.
And the following weekend, saw a house. He loved it, was ready to go 100 over the asking. I looked at comps. I said nothing's justifying, 800,000 roughly. So I asked the listing agent if they were open to escalation clauses. He said yes. Told my buyer, I go, let's do the escalation clause. So we started at the 700 and there's no other competing offers. So he got it at asking price. So
What
saved
was,
them $100,000.
so the asking was 800,
Asking was 700.
700,
He was
and so
willing
he
to
was
go
willing
up
to
to
go to
8.
800.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You just see that's the hero right there. That's why we practice the story brand presentation that makes you the hero, and you save that client $100,000,
Right.
or you help them save $100,000
Yeah, I
by
love that.
seeing,
That's a great story.
yeah. I mean, these are, you know, it's situations that make your offer the strongest, right? Well, in that case, there were no other offers, and that was the strongest offer.
Right. Now, on the flip side of that, I did have another buyer. We did an escalation clause and he was 130 over the asking. The listing agent got back to us and said, pretty much called our bluff, or, she was like, drop the escalation clause. we'll go with your offer at the highest price. So she wouldn't even go back to the other offers. So
Hmm.
were there other competing offers? Did we go too high? We'll never know.
No. Well, the answer lies in how did your client feel about the price that they paid?
Yeah, no, they were good with it. Like the monthly mortgage payments worked for them. And they're willing to go that high anyways. So, and they love the house. So,
So there we go. Well,
yeah,
no, the market is only worth what someone is willing to pay, and they were willing to pay it, and they were satisfied. So I think that is the answer. And good job on the other side, calling the bluff,
yep,
right? I mean, it goes both ways, these scenarios to being able to use all these tools. I understand that you have an escalation clause. That's awesome. How about this? You remove the escalation clause, we'll put you in first position as the highest offer. And if your clients are willing to do that, then I think we can make a deal happen here. And that's what she did. And that's the same thing that you guys can do when you're representing the seller as well. I mean, that's smart. It's an ask. They could have easily said no and say,
right.
well, what if we come up a little bit, keep the escalation in clause in play, and so there's that we can go back and forth on different aspects of that negotiation, but at the end of the day they paid an amount that they were comfortable with, they liked the house, and that is what the market was worth.
Yep.
So good job, good job. All right, so what's next?
Legion.
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 Lead gen. That's right. Lead gen. Okay, cool. Well, good job, everyone. Tomorrow's last day. Let's finish strong. All right. Expect everyone here in your. All right. So that's the script. I hope that you found it useful. Just head over to realestatescriptspractice.com for more resources and downloads. This content is for educational purposes only and does not make any guarantees. We suggest you seek the help and or advice of your broker, coach, mentor, office manager, attorney, and or financial advisor. Brought to you by Darren Tunstall, a licensed real estate agent, DRE number 018534445. The intention is to provide you with valuable information, insights, and practical tools. Please note that all results may vary and participants are responsible for their own actions.